I told you that some of the most successful songs in music history are also some of the most painful to sit through? We're not talking about songs that flopped.
Hearts and skinned our knees. Goodbye, my friend, it's hard to die.
Songs that climbed all the way to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Songs that millions of people bought with actual money.
All of a sudden I begin to change.
The 1970s gave us Led Zeppelin, Stevie Wonder, and Fleetwood Mac. But it also gave us this. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew about the American music buying public. These are the 20 worst #1 hits of the 1970s.
They took the whole Indian nation.
Indian Reservation, The Raiders. We start at number 20 with a song that tried to be meaningful and mostly just ended up being awkward. Indian Reservation by the Raiders hit #1 in 1971. The song tells the story of Native American displacement and loss of culture. Noble subject matter, right? The problem? It was performed by a band of white guys who had literally been playing cowboys on TV.
So proud to live. So proud.
The same group that wore tricorn hats and Revolutionary War costumes as a gimmick. The song was well-intentioned, but the whole thing felt like wearing a costume to a history lesson. It's less powerful statement and more uncomfortable cringe.
English to our young.
19. Play That Funky Music, Wild Cherry. Now here's one that sounds fun until you actually think about it. Play That Funky Music reached #1 in 1976. On the surface, it's catchy. It's got a groove. People still play it at weddings. But the premise of the song is a rock band that switches to playing funk music because the crowd isn't responding to their set. Which is fine. Adapt to your audience. The issue is that the whole thing feels like a cultural field trip rather than genuine music making. It's a novelty dressed up as a groove. Great for a party. A little hollow everywhere else. 18. Let 'em in Wings. Paul McCartney is a genius. That sentence has been true for decades. And then there's Let 'em in. This 1976 #1 is essentially a list of names set to the most aggressively simple melody ever committed to tape. Someone is knocking at the door. McCartney lists the guests: Sister Susie, Brother John, Martin Luther, Phil and Don, Uncle Ernie. That's it. That's the song. For a man who wrote Yesterday and Blackbird. This feels like something he dashed off on a napkin between bites of a sandwich. The world let it in. The world probably shouldn't have. 17. You're 16. Ringo Starr. Oh boy. Ringo Starr hit #1 in 1974 with a cover of a 1960 novelty song. And even by 1974 standards, the subject matter was raising eyebrows. A grown man singing dreamily about how wonderful a 16-year-old is. That's the whole song. Just enthusiasm about a teenager. At the time, people apparently just tapped their feet and moved on. Today, it's nearly impossible to listen to without wincing. One of those songs that tells you a lot about how different the world was 50 years ago, and not in a good way.
Sara, smile.
16. Sara, Smile. Hall and Oates. Now, this one is going to make some people angry. Sara's smile is beloved. Hall and Oates fans will defend it with their lives. And yes, it's a genuinely sweet, smooth piece of blue-eyed soul that hit number 1 in 1976. But taken purely on its own terms, it's a deeply average love song elevated entirely by Daryl Hall's voice.
Forever, Sarah.
Strip that voice away, and you have generic soft rock with no memorable hook, no interesting structure, and lyrics that wouldn't win a middle school poetry contest. It's not bad. It's just completely unremarkable. And unremarkable things reaching number 1 is kind of the whole point of this list.
When I feel cold, still.
15, still, the Commodores. The Commodores gave us Brick House. They gave us Easy. They gave us Lionel Richie in his prime. And then they gave us Still. This 1979 ballad is the musical equivalent of beige wallpaper.
You said you never.
It drifts. It floats. It asks nothing of you and gives nothing back. Lionel croons about enduring love, and you find yourself nodding off before the chorus even arrives.
And I'm with.
It hit number 1 anyway, because it was 1979 and people were apparently very, very relaxed.
You need.
Have you never been mellow?
14. Have you never been mellow? Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newton-John was enormously talented. She proved that many times over.
Have you never been happy?
Have You Never Been Mellow was not one of those times. This 1975 number 1 is 3 minutes of gentle suggestion. The tempo is approximately the speed of a sleeping tortoise.
Have you never been mellow?
The message is essentially, hey, calm down. And the delivery is so serene that you genuinely cannot tell if it's a song or a lullaby for adults who've had too much chamomile tea. It's not offensive. It's not terrible. It's just so profoundly uninspiring that you forget it's playing while it's playing.
Tell my point of view.
Right to me and escape.
13. Escape, the Pina Colada song. Rupert Holmes. Okay, let's talk about Escape. Rupert Holmes hit number 1 in 1979 with a song, and it's one of the most baffling storytelling choices in pop history.
I am into champagne. I've got to eat you by tomorrow.
A man, bored with his relationship, reads a personal ad in the newspaper. He responds to it. He arranges to meet the mystery woman. He shows up at the bar, and it's his own partner. They both laugh it off. The song ends happily. But wait, they were both trying to cheat on each other at the same time.
If you're not into yoga.
And the takeaway is, that's adorable? That's the happy ending? The song rewards 2 people for simultaneously attempting to be unfaithful by discovering they have things in common. It's a rom-com premise that doesn't hold up to 30 seconds of actual thought. People loved it anyway. Number 1 for 6 weeks.
I read the paper in bed. And in the
Joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. But
12. Seasons in the Sun, Terry Jacks. This song is a death ballad. A slow, piano-driven farewell from someone who is dying. They say goodbye to their father.
and get my feet back on the ground. Goodbye, Michelle, it's hard to die.
They say goodbye to their friends. They say goodbye to Michelle, who apparently kissed the guys on the sports field. Terry Jacks turned a somber Jacques Brel song into something that sounds like a campfire sing-along.
You would always come around and get my feet back on the ground.
The cheerful melody underneath the depressing lyrics creates one of the most tonally confused listening experiences in music history. It hit number 1 in 1974. It made many people cry. Whether those were tears of sadness or confusion remains unclear.
We've climbed hills and trees.
Loving you is easy.
11. Loving You, Minnie Riperton. Minnie Riperton had one of the most extraordinary voices in the history of recorded music. A 5-octave range, effortless whistle notes, pure, crystalline tone.
And we will live each day in springtime. 'Cause
Loving You reached number 1 in 1975, and it is, without question, a beautiful showcase of her voice. But the song itself? It is 45 seconds of actual content stretched to nearly 4 minutes using bird chirps, humming, and a melody so simple a toddler could have composed it. It's not a song. It's a vocal demonstration with some chords underneath it.
Don't come shining through. And every time that we
Incredible talent. Deeply forgettable song.
can make me feel the colors that you bring.
In the hands of my love.
10. My Love, Paul McCartney and Wings. Paul McCartney appears on this list twice. That's impressive in its own way. My Love hit number 1 in 1973 and is about as basic as love songs get.
To me, oh my love.
It's soft. It's pleasant. It's entirely consequence-free. The guitar solo is genuinely lovely. Everything else sounds like the musical equivalent of a greeting card. When you're the man who co-wrote the entire Beatles catalog and this is what you bring to the table, something has gone wrong. Not terribly wrong, just quietly disappointingly wrong.
I'll still find something there with my love. Whenever I get weary.
9. Babe, Styx. Styx was a serious rock band. They made concept albums. They had things to say. And then Dennis DeYoung wrote Babe as a gift for his wife.
Yes. But I'll be lonely.
And somehow it ended up as a number 1 hit in 1979. It is the softest, most syrupy power ballad you have ever heard from a band that once wrote elaborate rock operas. It sounds like someone told Styx to write a Hallmark movie theme, and they took the assignment very literally. Their fans were confused. Everyone else was apparently delighted. The song went straight to the top.
Babe, I love you.
8. Ring My Bell, Anita Ward. Disco was everywhere by 1979, and Ring My Bell is pure disco product. Anita Ward's number 1 hit is bouncy, repetitive, and built around one of the most blunt metaphors in pop music history. The song was actually written for a 12-year-old named Stacy Lattisaw, intended to be an innocent song about a telephone. It was then reworked for an adult audience. The metaphor became less innocent. The result is a song with no artistic ambition whatsoever, a hook that drills into your skull and refuses to leave, and lyrics that communicate exactly one idea for 3.5 minutes. It worked. Of course it worked.
Feelings.
7. Feelings, Morris Albert. Feelings is the song that feels like being emotionally ambushed in an elevator. Morris Albert's 1975 ballad became one of the most covered songs of the decade.
Trying to forget my.
Which should tell you something about how deeply it burrowed into the cultural consciousness. But whether that's a good thing is genuinely debatable. The song is so relentlessly, nakedly emotional that it borders on parody.
Feeling.
Every line is a fresh wave of heartbreak. Every chorus sounds like a man on the verge of complete collapse. It's exhausting.
Trying to forget my.
It peaked at number 6 in the US, but topped charts in numerous countries, and its cultural footprint far exceeded that. Every lounge singer on the planet had this in their repertoire. That is either a legacy or a curse, depending on who you ask.
You'll never come again.
6. My Dingling, Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry invented rock and roll. That is not an exaggeration. He built the template that everyone from the Beatles to the Rolling Stones followed. And his only number 1 single in the United States was a novelty song about a bell he had as a child. My Dingling reached the top of the charts in 1972 with its repetitive, juvenile sing-along hook. The crowd participation element made it a hit in live settings. The studio version is essentially the same joke told over and over for 4 minutes. It is genuinely baffling that the man who wrote Johnny Be Good and Roll Over Beethoven, 2 of the most important songs in the history of popular music, is best remembered by chart performance for a song about a toy. Rock and roll deserved better.
All right, brother. Yes, sir. You got it right, baby. Ain't nobody gonna bother you.
5. You Light Up My Life, Debby Boone. Brace yourself. You Light Up My Life by Debby Boone spent 10 consecutive weeks at number 1 in 1977. 10 weeks. That's 2.5 months.
Inside me, alone in the dark.
It is perhaps the most saccharine, aggressively inoffensive song ever to dominate the charts. The melody wobbles. The sentiment is vague enough to be about romantic love, parental love, or religious devotion, depending on how you squint. The delivery is so earnest, it almost wraps around into something strange. It was the biggest single of 1977. In a year that also gave us Hotel California, Go Your Own Way, and Sir Duke, this song spent 10 weeks at the absolute top. 10 weeks. Let that sink in.
Adrift on the water. Muskrat, muskrat, candlelight.
4. Muskrat Love, Captain and Tennille. In 1976, a number 1 song told the detailed romantic story of 2 muskrats. Their names were Muskrat Susie and Muskrat Sam. The song describes their date in considerable detail. There are sound effects. There is a muskrat whispering section. Actual audio meant to suggest the sounds of rodent romance. Captain and Tennille performed this on national television for President Gerald Ford and Queen Elizabeth II at a state dinner. This was the entertainment provided to world leaders. History has not been kind to Muskrat Love. But it was number 1, so history was kind to it once, which is one more time than it deserved. Song 3. You're Having My Baby, Paul Anka. Paul Anka wrote My Way for Frank Sinatra. He wrote Tonight Show theme. He had genuine creative range. And then he wrote You're Having My Baby, which hit number 1 in 1974 and immediately became one of the most criticized songs in pop history. Feminist groups protested the song upon release. The National Organization for Women gave it a Keep Her in Her Place award. Because the song frames a pregnancy almost entirely from the father's perspective, celebrating how the woman's choice to continue the pregnancy proves her love for him. The woman in question barely gets a say in the narrative of her own pregnancy. Paul Anka, meanwhile, is thrilled. It hit number 1. It stayed controversial. And Paul Anka, to his credit, has never seemed particularly bothered by any of this.
That you're having my baby. I'm gonna grab some afternoon delight. My motto's always
2. Afternoon Delight, Starland Vocal Band. In 1976, the Starland Vocal Band won the Grammy Award for Best New Artist. Their acceptance speech was gracious. Their song, however, was one of the most accidentally funny number 1s in history. Afternoon Delight is about 2 people scheduling a midday romantic encounter. The group apparently wanted it to sound wholesome and sweet. The name came from a dessert item on a restaurant menu. The result was a song so laden with double meaning that it became a cultural punchline for decades. The harmonies are pleasant. The arrangement is cheerful. The actual content, once you start listening, is impossible to unhear. It reached number 1. It won awards. It launched careers. And it has been generating awkward laughs ever since. 1. Disco Duck, Rick Dees. And here we are. Number 1 on our list of number 1s. Disco Duck by Rick Dees hit the top of the Billboard Hot 100 in 1976.
I was on the dance floor acting strange.
It is, by nearly any measure, the most absurd song to ever reach that position. Rick Dees was a radio DJ. The song was a comedy novelty record. It features a man who goes to a disco, gets bitten by the disco bug, and begins involuntarily quacking like a duck while dancing.
When the music stopped, I returned to my seat.
His voice transforms into a Donald Duck impression mid-song. That's it. That's the whole concept. It sold over 1 million copies. It was certified gold. Rick Dees performed it on countless television programs. And for one brief, inexplicable moment in American pop history, a song about a quacking duck dancer was the most popular song in the country.
Look at me, I'm the disco duck.
So there you have it. 20 songs that conquered the charts and left us all with complicated feelings about the decade. Now look, not everything on this list is genuinely terrible. Some of it is just aggressively mediocre. Some of it is wildly out of place. And some of it, yes, Disco Duck, defies all rational explanation. But that's the beauty of pop music history. The charts don't always reflect quality. They reflect a moment, a mood. 1 million people all agreeing at the same time to play the same thing. And sometimes that thing is a duck. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We'll be diving deep into more music history, the good, the bad, and the gloriously weird. Drop your own pick for the worst number 1 of the 70s in the comments below. I guarantee someone down there will aggressively defend Muskrat Love. And honestly, I respect it. See you in the next video.